The Nomad is the very first ship in Elite Dangerous to have a physical interior that you can walk inside of. It's a brand new ship that's due to arrive on the 30th of June. It is actually called a ship-launched vessel. In other words, it's extremely small, smaller even than a Sidewinder, and it actually deploys from larger vessels. Think in the same manner as ship-launched fighters. And this ship represents a very new direction for the game in multiple different ways, and we're going to get to those in this particular video. What I really want to look at here though is, what does the Nomad actually mean for the future of Elite, and does it suggest the possibility of ship interiors, and if not, at the very least, does it suggest that in principle they could be a good idea? Spoiler on that, I think they're actually a great idea. The Nomad is also a very interesting vessel to use, so we'll get into all of that throughout this video, but primarily this is a focus on what could the Nomad actually mean for the future of the game. If you do want a full deep dive review on the Nomad, however, this isn't probably the video for you, but I highly recommend you check out Burpit, where he has a full deep dive on the pros and cons and pretty much everything you'd want to know about this ship itself. But here we're going to focus on the future of the game and what the Nomad might suggest for that. So this is an exploration vessel that allows you to interact with the surface of the planet in a very specific way. You can go out and scan flora from, well, up in flight, from without getting down on the surface. You can locate where all the plants are, and that makes the whole process of exobiology that much easier. Now, where things get really interesting is when you land with the Nomad. You can actually see that here. We got the my Caspian Explorer up in the background, but when you want to get out, you disembark much in the same way you would from a regular ship. Except what happens here is quite different. You don't deploy into a blue tunnel, a blue orb outside. Instead, you deploy directly into the cargo space of the ship itself, and you can see all the hatchways open. Now, this variant of the Nomad has an entirely empty cargo space. There's no actual utility or other functions in here. But that said, you can outfit the interior here with some other objects, so we say, but this is entirely, unfortunately, cosmetic. Very short clip here from Commander Burr's video giving you an idea of how that looks. Much like where you can employ ship kits to other ships, you can do the same with the Nomad, except what happens is they act as an interior decorating option. For me, this simultaneously evokes two different emotions. Excitement at the possibility of ship interiors with customizable insides, and as you can see, they have all sorts of equipment you can imagine using. Disappointment, of course, that this is just simply cosmetic, and at the moment that perhaps feels a little bit like a cash grab to some of you out there, and it does a little bit to me if I'm being perfectly blunt about it. But at the same token, I think it's also worth keeping in mind that this very much illustrates what Elite could be capable of when it comes to having an interior on your ship. So whilst the Nomad has obviously been built from the ground up with an interior in mind, I don't really see any reason why this same philosophy couldn't be applied to another ship, even if you could only use your ship as some sort of base, static, once it's landed. You just press the disembark and you leave your pilot seat and you spawn into the interior of your ship. Whether it's corridors, various different rooms or whatnot, that will depend upon each different ship. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying that is what's going to happen. I'm not saying Frontier are even considering it. What I'm saying is that I do believe, and I have long believed, this would be a great idea for Elite, and ultimately it is a compromise. If, for whatever reason, there's technical challenges in getting full ship interiors working in space where you can have your ship flying along and leave the seat and walk around inside with your friends, having your ship land on the planet instead and being able to walk around the interior as a type of mobile base would be a reasonable and quite acceptable compromise, I do feel. Of course, we're going to have a lot of people, and no doubt some in the comments, saying, well, what does this even mean? What would it allow us to do? What gameplay does it actually bring? And, you know, I don't want to play Barbie and dress up with the ship. Now, I do understand preference. If someone doesn't want a ship interior, they don't feel they'd use it, that is one thing. But I don't agree, I fundamentally disagree with the idea, the very notion that ship interiors don't bring anything to a game. I think they bring a whole lot of potential value. So consider here, we're just about to go in the back of the Nomad. Imagine some computers here. We've seen some microscopes in the earlier screenshots. You could go out and collect some materials from the outside of the planetary surface, whether that's directly from plants or whether that's from bacteria growth on planets, Or maybe even there's some sort of a mineral extraction option. You drill down into the ground, either with your SRV, with the ship itself perhaps, or with some hand tools, and you extract some type of samples. These could also be a liquid form. They could be a virus. They could be any form of minor microscopic life. Pretty much anything you can imagine. You then bring it inside your ship, and you've got various different devices to actually interact with your samples and analyze them, and either gain resources that you can use for your own benefit, or take them back to a station somewhere and perhaps sell them. As far as I'm concerned, the Nomad has now validated that a static ship interior is indeed possible, even if you can only use it when landed. But again, that really opens up a lot of gameplay opportunities. Now, unfortunately, I don't think Frontier are going to go in that direction with the Nomad, or perhaps not with any other future ship as well. Primarily because, well, they wouldn't be monetizing the ship interior if they were. Right now, you can put various different consoles and experimental scientific equipment inside the ship, but this is all purely visual, it's all purely cosmetic. And the fact that that is the only way to outfit your ship suggests that there won't be any future possibility of having functional equipment inside your ship, because think of it this way. If we could add functional equipment inside the ship in the future, what would happen to the cosmetics? They can't both coexist in the same place. And what this means is that, to all intents and purposes, Frontier have given the Nomad an interior, but they haven't really given the player anything to actually do with that. One of these questions, of course, is going to be what happens if you, as the owner of the Nomad, get into your pilot ship and fly away, whilst your buddy is standing in the cargo bay at the back. Now, unfortunately, there's only limited access to the Nomad at the moment. It's been sent out to Elite Dangerous content partner programs, of which I'm one, as well as, I do believe, a few other people. I'm not sure on exactly who gets access to this. But either way, the limited access has meant there's no way for me to test this with another player. I haven't been able to get another person in the back of the cargo hold to see what happens. Now, maybe another YouTuber out there who's involved in the partner program has tested that, and if they have, please do let me know what the result of that is in the comments section. But I suspect that for whatever happens, either the other player can't get inside the cargo space of the Nomad, or if they can, they'll probably be transitioned outside of the ship once you decide to fly it away. But ultimately, wouldn't it be nice for them to stand in there whilst you're flying around? Ultimately then, my takeaway field from this is that it's really nice to see a ship like the Nomad for multiple different reasons. One, because it allows you to deploy from your larger vessel, much like we could with ship-launched fighters, except here we've got much more control over the Nomad. For example, whilst you're in your Nomad, you can dismiss your larger vessel that will fly away up into orbit, and you can continue around on the surface of the planet. Also, it does have utility. You can scan xenobiology in the Nomad whilst you're flying around, so that gives the vessel a very unique function. And thirdly, we do have that rather limited scope in terms of interior. Again, this is completely unique in across all of Elite when it comes to these type of ships. And for all of these, it does make the Nomad a very interesting ship to actually experience. It is pretty pricey for the size of it, but I don't know if size actually counts for anything when it comes to ship. Should you be spending more money on a larger ship, a smaller ship, a little very small ship? I don't know. My initial feeling when it comes to Elite Dangerous is that the size of the ship shouldn't directly correlate with the price of the ship. Unlike somewhere like Star Citizen, for example, where you've got a whole complex process involving the whole interior of the ship, and that could perhaps justify why one ship might be more expensive than the other, but it of course doesn't justify insane, ridiculous prices. Either way, right now, for me, Nomad is a very interesting ship in the terms of a curiosity vessel, and it's also kind of feeling like a bit of a proof of concept as well. Something worth looking into if you feel like going down that route, and if you really want to know the full ins and outs of the ship, like I said at the start of the video, do check out Commander Burr's YouTube channel, where you can find out that both him and Rini have done a great deep dive into the ship itself. So thanks for watching this video all the way through. There is another one on the screen right here, do check that out. Otherwise, do take care, and I'll catch you next time. See you soon.